Hello, I'm Danielle Conley, and welcome to Wealth Think Tank Television with your host, Dr. Ralph Steele, providing the best financial literacy, investment, and generational wealth for your children, yourself, your family, and your business.
Welcome to Wealth Think Tank Television on KAZQ 32 TV, and I'm your host, Dr. Ralph Steele, and we are excited again today to be on the television show today every Sunday, 4 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Pacific, and of course, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on KAZQ Television 32 TV. And we're happy to have you today on this show. Of course, I'm your host, Dr. Ralph Steele. And, a lot of you out there are thinking about Christmas and you're beginning to shop and you're thinking about gifts, what you're going to buy your children, what you're going to buy your grandchildren. Listen, hey, I got the best thing that you could ever imagine to get your children or grandchildren. And you know what? It can last them a lifetime. Can you imagine that, buying a gift for your children and grandchildren that's going to last a lifetime? Guess what? I got it just for you. The greatest Christmas gift now you can give your children and grandchildren, give them a whole life insurance policy. It just, you get it, you buy it, you purchase it, and it just grows with the interest. It can take them to high school, take them to college. It can even help them to purchase their first home. That's right, Dad, Mom, grandfather, grandmothers. The greatest thing you can give for your children today, a whole life insurance policy, or if you want to even do something similar, you can also get an index universal life annuity. Same thing. Now, I'm going to tell you a secret about both of them. With the whole life and the index annuity, once the money is accumulated, let's say hypothetically, you have a cash value of $50,000 or $100,000, and you take $10,000 out of either one of them, whole life or an index annuity, it is tax-free. Get your gift for your children and grandchildren. You call the doctor, Dr. Ralph Steele, on KAZQ 32 television. You know what? And I got a great company for you, Ameritas, and they can do it. Great company, started in 1887. But thank you very much. You're on live right here on Wealth Think Tank Television with your host, Dr. Ralph Steele. But you know what? I have one of the greatest professional women in the whole wide world right here today. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Mrs. Ayla Galeyeva. Did I say it right?
Almost.
Almost. But she can say it right. It's Ayla Galeyeva. Galeyeva. Miss Ayla Galeyeva. I knew I can get it right. But anyway, we welcome you, Ava, to our show today. I'm glad to have you, television audience. And Miss Ava going to give you some great information today. But before we start, I want to know, what inspires you, Ava?
Absolutely. So I know we've met, and my story is a little bit unique. I grew up in Russia in the 90s.
What part of Russia?
I grew up in Far East, so the Asian part of Russia.
Yes.
And today I represent Ameritas record-keeping side, meaning I am a guru when it comes to 401k, all things 401k, and that's how you and I know each other professionally. And how does one get into 401k? I've been doing it for over 17 years. That's all I know. That's all I've been doing.
Do you enjoy that?
Love it.
You love it?
I can't imagine doing anything else.
Wow. See that, folks?
Absolutely.
And we're going to get into this 401k because once she tells you, you're going to leave with gold today, gold mine, information that's amazing. And so with that being said, tell me any individual in who really kind of has helped get you where you are today.
Absolutely.
Mother, father, friend, coworker, whoever?
Well, of course, my parents. If it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't be in this country. They pushed me to move here. They got me on student visa, and I went to college in this country. And as many, 18-year-olds not really knowing what major I want to do, I picked business, kind of broad, kind of a little bit of everything. And took accounting, finance, all the typical business stuff. It wasn't quite my jam until I took a class called Personal Investing.
Oh, wow.
So the class taught you on the surface what's an IRA, what's a 401k, what's a stock, what's a bond, what's a mutual fund, what's an annuity, about a little bit of everything. And it just clicked.
Wow.
It made sense. I understood it.
Right.
And kind of path of least resistance, well, I understand this, why not capitalize on it and why not make a career out of it? And I started working for company Fidelity Investments, where I spent bulk of my life, bulk of my career. And recently, Ameritas welcomed me to represent 401k in the DFW and Oklahoma market.
And there you have it.
I now have it.
And folks, today we're going to talk about just that, 401ks, and how 401k can impact you and your family from the beginning of having a financial plan with a 401k to your family to generational wealth. And so that brings me to our first question with our guest today, this great professional woman. What is a 401k? Hey!
So 401k, if you Google it, by definition, they will tell you it's a defined contribution plan.
Sure.
But it has to be offered by an employer. So it's the way for you to contribute money straight from your paycheck, but you can't just go out and get it. You have to have an employer
that
offers it to you. It has to be. So it's called an employer-sponsored plan.
I got you.
And so it provides you with great ability to defer taxes. The most common benefit of having it is it's pre-tax contribution. So when you put money in, it lowers your taxable income. That's what most people use it for, but we'll talk about details in just a moment.
Which brings us to the next question, audience, is how does a 401k, because see, it's one thing to put money in something, but it's another thing to say, how does it help? How does a 401k help an individual, family, or business develop their retirement plan so they can grow money and benefit from it?
Yes, so first thing, if you're putting in before taxes, you're putting in before you're paying anything to the government, so it's actually more money than you think that you're putting in, right? There is a way to put in money after tax, and then you don't pay taxes later. It's called Roth contribution.
Right.
Or if you do pre-tax, you don't pay taxes now, but then you eventually pay the taxes, so you can diversify your tax strategy a little bit, right? I would say the biggest thing is you kind of set it and forget it, right? You say, I want to contribute $100 per paycheck or 5% per paycheck. You put that in, and that's it.
Right.
You set it and forget it. Of course, with investments, my Ameritas wanted to make sure that I say this on the records, that we do not guarantee any future results. Past performance is never a guarantee.
Folks, that's a disclaimer.
That's a disclaimer, absolutely. But historically, you can make money in the market. You don't have to be in the stock market. You can be in bonds and cash and be a little bit more conservative. But historically, over time, you're putting in money before tax, so it's tax deferred. You're not paying taxes on earnings as it grows.
Right.
So it's compounded interest. And you set it and forget it. It's super easy.
And I agree with her. And folks, I want you to know, I don't guarantee either, but I want you to know that you're going to make some money off of it, because I have. So don't fret with no regret. You're going to make some money off of it, which is, so what is the benefit and reason for a 401k as it pertains to wealth? And the big one to me, Ayla, is financial freedom.
Mm-hmm. So as you think about retirement, you want to think about things like, let's start from the end.
Right.
How much money do you need in retirement?
Right.
That's one. Two, where is that money going to come from?
I need $5 million.
So where's that $5 million going to come from?
I need $10 million. No, I'm joking.
Right. So The kind of conventional wisdom is that you get about 30-ish% from Social Security.
Sure.
This is not the time or place to argue, debate whether it's going to exist or not by the time you and I retire.
That's right.
But today, that's big source of income. Second biggest source is your own personal investing,
That's
your own
right.
personal retirement. And then you have some pension, inheritance, and what have you, which is a little bit more irrelevant. So you cannot control Social Security.
You cannot, and I would say not to, just quick interjection for our television audience is, I'm not anti-Social Security, but at the same breath, I'm not trying to tell anybody to put all of your eggs in Social Security. And
That's
so
right. All your faith in it, right?
That's exactly right. I'm saying what Ayla is saying, let's have some personal.
That's right.
And let's increase this 401k. How did that sound to you?
You're absolutely correct. Control what you can control.
Right.
If your company provides 401k, you must take advantage of it.
Oh, wow.
If they match, you have to take advantage
Exactly.
of it. Right? You have no reason not to do it.
Don't give away money that's coming to you.
You're going to have your own money to live on in retirement. You're going to have expenses in retirement.
Right.
People think they retire and poof, you don't have a gas bill anymore. You don't have a mortgage anymore. You need to have money in retirement.
Right.
What can you control? And 401k, again, is the easiest way to contribute where you don't have to think about it.
Wow.
You set again, 5%, 10%. We recommend usually 15%, depending on whether you get matched or not. You set it and you forget it. You also set your investments. You can put your portfolio with your financial professional, or your company can help. You set it and forget it. Hopefully you're investing in the market and it's accumulating some money for you as well. Another really, in my opinion, quite genius thing that IRS set restrictions on the 401k. You start saving, you get 10,000 and then 20,000, and then boom, you need some money. You can't get it. So because it's restrictive, you can get a loan or, depending on your plan availability, but in general, government says this is for your retirement. So unless you're retired, you cannot touch this money.
Right.
So what does it do to the savings? It's not depleting. You're continuing to contribute. It's continuing to grow. You cannot get to it.
But
and that's a huge benefit of having you're leaving temptations behind to get a hold of that money, because you can't.
Right.
And that's one of the many reasons why 401k is the largest type of vehicle for retirement for Americans today.
I call it the best of delayed gratification.
Yes.
The best of fun with, that's coming.
Yes.
Like you say, you set it, you forget it. But folks, let me tell you a secret. Money don't ever. If you own money and you invest money, and I would say even in a 401k, of course this is chuckle buckle, but it's true. Money doesn't forget you, because it's not going anywhere.
That's right. And 401k is that magical formula, so to speak, where it's super easy. You set it and forget it, and you can't touch it. So that's a accumulation of all these benefits, make it an extremely important benefit for the employer to have, for the employees. And if you are an employee listening and you have a 401k, no excuses for you not to take advantage of it. No excuses.
I can sense that you have had fun helping people with the 401k. So who was there anybody help you get into this business? I know you took personal investing in college and all that, but how did you really, really get into this business? Because it sounds like this has been like just a natural flow of business for you in terms of how you've been able to help many American people, actually get a 401k and knowing what it's going to do for their life, 10, 20, 30 years or more.
There's definitely a lot of people that I can thank. Couple of them stand out in particular. I started at Fidelity Investments when I was barely 20. And some of my older colleagues sat me down and they literally sat me down and watched me make sure that I log in to my own 401k and
Right.
start contributing maximum that I can contribute and maximum to get a match. And of course, as a 20-year-old, that's the last thing you want to spend your money on. And I just kind of said, I don't want to do this. And I'm glad I did, because I was peer pressured in a good way.
Exactly.
And I never stopped contributing ever since.
Wow. Now, I heard you mention maximum. In
Yes.
today's time, which is correlated with, of course, what would be one of the greatest benefits, but what would be the maximum now, depending on, if I could use the term percentage-wise, or maybe I should use how it's controlled, because, you know, a lot of people don't realize all investments are controlled by government. So what would be the maximum that someone could put in total on an annual basis that will help them grow their monies?
So the maximums are pretty generous. So for 2023, we're looking at about $22,500 that you can put away of your own money before taxes. If you are over 50, there's a catch-up provision, so it's additional about $6,000 to $7,000. You want to make sure that you go to irs.gov and check the numbers.
Sure.
Every year they change.
Yeah.
And then you also have a maximum for what your employer can put in. You cannot control it, of course. So they have their own maximum if you're getting profit sharing or match.
Depending on the company.
Depending on what company's generosity. They don't have to do it, but if they do it, they have their own maximum as well. So you can technically have up to $40,000, $50,000 a year going into this 401k per individual. And if you think about it, there's very few, if any, other investment or vehicles that allow you to put away that much and invest it and have it compounded tax deferred for decades, and for the rest of your life. Really, you don't have to take it out when you retire. You can make it last to the next generation if you want.
Kind of, right.
Keep it rolling.
Create generational wealth like that.
That's right, absolutely.
Wow. You see that, folks? This is why I wanted to have this show, because this is quality, professional, financial information. This is great, Ayla. I mean, we haven't even finished, and look at the information that she has, which brings me to the next thought about the 401k is what are some tax implications for the employee and the employer who has the 401k?
So, of course, the two definite things in this life, or two guaranteed things in this life, are death and taxes, right?
Yeah.
And although this is tax advantaged account, it is not tax-free by any stretch of imagination,
no way.
right? So there are two things that you want to know. Accumulation stage, how it helps you during accumulation while you're saving, and distribution stage, what happens to your money with tax-wise when you're taking money out. So first and foremost, as you're contributing money, you can contribute two ways, depending on your plan, what your plan allows.
Right.
Traditional way, pre-tax, so it lowers your taxable income. So say you make $100,000, it's a very rough estimate. You make $100,000, you put away 10, now your taxable income is 90.
Wow.
Right? So imagine if you put away 20, and then you do it every year. And but in distribution stage, once you start taking that money out, you start paying taxes on the money that you're taking out. So you might be out there thinking, well, what the heck is the point then? Well, the point is, first of all, it's growing tax deferred. So for decades, whatever you're earning, you're not paying taxes on the earnings, which typically you would in any other brokerage accounts. So there's more money to build on top of it, so more money to grow.
Wow.
And then the second thought is in the distribution stage, typically in retirement, there's less expenses. You only need about 70 to 90% of what you need before retirement.
Right.
So your taxable income will drop down, hence your tax bracket will drop as well, or you'll be paying less taxes. So yes, you'll be eventually paying taxes, but you'll be paying taxes on lesser amount.
Less amount of money.
Correct.
And that's a great advantage right there. Rather than paying more taxes, you pay less. Because anybody with just normal common sense, I mean, including myself, don't want to pay as much taxes.
Of course not.
I mean, it just, it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
And then for some people, there's also another source, which is Roth. Not all plans allow for it, but more and more now it becomes more and more common.
Right.
So I would definitely ask your employer if it's available and can they add it, or if you're a business owner, look for a provider that gives you that option.
Wow.
With Roth, you are putting money in after taxes, so it doesn't give you any advantages today, but it's still gross tax deferred.
Right.
And when you are ready to retire, you're ready to take that money out, you pay no taxes.
Wow.
So those are the two things for the employee. For the employer, any contributions that you are making towards the plan, match, profit sharing, or fees that you're paying in order to have it. It's not a free service.
Exactly.
You're going to pay somebody, Ameritas or Fidelity. And so if you're paying for the fees to have the plan out of your business account,
right,
it could be tax credit for you.
Right.
Your contributions and the fees, obviously I'm not a tax professional, so you want to seek CPA counsel there, but they're very well known generous tax credits for you as an employer for providing this benefit to your employees.
Which is one of the other thoughts I had is, what are the 3 reasons why, and you just named one, why an employer would use a 401k plan for his or her employees?
Yes, I would say, I think you and I are aligned here, you want to do what's right for your people that you're responsible
That's
for,
right? Exactly.
You want to help them be responsible. You want to help them be financially independent.
Correct.
You want them to retire at some point, just
Right.
like you want to retire yourself. And this is the easiest, surest way, most proven way to provide that benefit for them. It's not a secret. We have struggled in any industry with retention and recruitment. So this is piece to your puzzle when it comes to your total compensation. It's not just how much you're paying them, but what benefits are you offering? Do you give them good insurance, a good child care, good maternity leave? Oh, what about your 401k? Do you have it? If you have it, are you paying a lot of money for it? Are you using match? Are you doing profit sharing? It is part of your retention and talent attraction formula, a piece of your puzzle to make your business better.
Right. Yeah, it helps people say, wait a minute, this is a great company because of this,
all these things.
What they're doing for me, not just right now, but long term. And it can benefit my life, like you said, decades.
It does, because especially if you have employees who are in a little bit of a lower earning scale, if all you're doing is giving them more money in a paycheck, they're going to spend it most likely. They're going to find it, right? They're going to. I'm like that. You give me more money, I'll find a way to spend more. So that's why if you are already in a position where you can't get a hold of that money and you have that 401k, you're just setting them up for success.
It's like a hidden secret. I call it the hidden secret.
Though it's not a secret anymore.
Right. And what I mean by that is, you get paid, the money goes into your 401k.
Pay yourself first, right?
Right. You don't see it.
That's right.
But you know it's there.
That's right.
But you don't know it's there because you can't touch it. It's restricted. But even if somebody borrows the money, and when they pay it back, they still paying themselves back, correct?
Yes. I'm not a big fan of loans, although I'm guilty of taking them out. Yes. You want to remember that though you're paying yourself back with interest, but you're paying yourself back with after-tax dollars. Then they're being commingled with pre-tax dollars.
Wow.
When you start taking it out, they don't see that you've paid loan back with after-tax dollars, so you already pay taxes on it. It's still going to be taxed.
Right.
So you kind of, in a way, sort of paying taxes twice on it, so you don't really. I'm not a fan, but if you got to do it, you got to do it. I've done it, so I'm not going to be a hypocrite.
That's why it's not necessarily good to commingle your money, is what you're saying.
Yes.
What have you?
You can avoid not taking out a loan.
So, what's the best particularly for our television audience and those who may or may not? What is the best time for an individual, company, business to and maybe another question is, in terms of Ameritas providing, if I can say this publicly, what's the benefit would be for Ameritas, or when is the best time for a company to either start 401k or review a 401k, improve the 401k? I'm asking more than one question, as you can see, and in order to make this really better for both the employee, but also for the employer.
Yeah, a couple of things come to mind. Well, first and foremost, there is really no deadlines or timelines when it comes to reviewing, when it comes to starting one.
Sure.
So it's not exactly how open enrollment works, right? You're not going to sign up for it.
That's something different.
Completely different. You can start 401k in April, July, March. You can change providers anytime. It's evergreen, so to speak.
Wow.
However, if you want to kind of think strategically about it, what I've seen plan sponsors do, they coordinate either changing of providers or starting a 401k with open enrollment.
Right.
So they bring on an insurance, their broker and a 401k provider at the same time. So it's on people's top mind because they try to connect the two.
Right.
So that's one thing. Another thing, if you have a payroll provider and you're changing a payroll provider, they're also connected. It's also a good time to review and maybe start or change.
Right, right.
As far as reviewing, you definitely want to do due diligence at least 2 to 3 years. Give it a stress test. See that you're paying, your fees are okay, and your plan you're taking advantage of the plan to the fullest.
Because sometimes if you review it, and you correct me, if you review your 401k plan, you might be able to get a better company or and end up paying less fees. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
So the company, the business there is, can save money for their business.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. There you have it, folks. And I want to say this here, and Ayla can pitch in with me. If you want to have a review of your 401k plan for your employees, or if you're a new business and you are getting ready to start a 401k plan, just give us a call, 817-729-0543. With that being said, I want to ask Ms. Ayla this. Tell the television audience, what would be one thing you would tell them to do to help them with 401k business?
With 401k business, I would say don't be afraid of it. A lot of business owners try to kind of stay away. It is a hairy beast, but know that you have experts here between the two of us who can help you with that, and it's not as scary as it might sound.
Wow, that is so great. Well, there you have it, folks. Miss Ayla, thank you for being on our show.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
I mean, just a mob, folks. Can you see that? Give her a big hand. Thank you very much. I appreciate your professional information, and we're going to continue to work hard, work smart, and provide the businesses with 401ks so they would be better in the retention of their company. Thank you for watching Wealth Think Tank Television, KAZQ TV 32. Have a great day.